Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a stunning vision. White birds are seen flying in the blue sky. On the beach, Louis Stevens is seen staring out to sea, while capoeira music is heard in the background. Stevens notices a few individuals nearby practicing the capoeira skill with dancing, as well as other onlookers cheering them on. After seeing them, Stevens comes near those folks, and after one man insists, Stevens removes his shirt and plays the capoeira with them. After a time, he chats with a soldier, and when he informs a man there that he is returning home, the man offers him a traditional musical instrument, berimbau, and he goes away smiling. When Stevens returns to his hometown of Miami after completing military service in Brazil, he discovers that the school has become completely dysfunctional, with students openly using marijuana and drug dealers publicly selling. Stevens then goes to see his former teacher, Mr. Kerrigan, and stops at the door. Mr. Kerrigan is an excellent teacher, but nobody pays attention. Some students even disrespect him and leave class early. When class is over, Stevens and Mr. Kerrigan meet. Seeing Stevens, he is overjoyed, and they go to eat while talking. When they are discussing the school issue, Stevens is upset about Mr. Kerrigan's words, and so he leaves. But as he goes, he sees a drug dealer abusing someone. The drug dealer says that his brother abandoned all attempts to study after seeing Stevens. Then Stevens warns him that if he doesn't let the kid go, trouble will come to him. The dealer says this is a family issue, so don't fall for it. Stevens says, "I am not the teacher here." By using his capoeira skills, Stevens engages in fighting with the drug dealers, and drives them from the school. Every student was focused on Stevens as he displayed his capoeira skills. Mr. Kerrigan is taken aback when he notices that all of the kids are focusing their attention on Stevens. And he says to Stevens, "You managed to capture all of these students' attention, something none of us have been able to achieve for the past 5 years." Later, Mr. Kerrigan brings Stevens to a member of the school staff, where the rest of the teachers discuss his plan. He plans to scrape the bottom of the barrel, taking the 12 most difficult students, and reforming them via martial arts instruction. Stevens is ready to depart, until Kerrigan persuades him to stay and teach, over the protests of several faculty members. But he is stopped by a teacher named Diana, who was a classmate of Stevens, and persuades the other teacher that Stevens was also a troublemaker in school. However, he was changed by his 11th teacher, if he wants to return and take action in the future, and if this is our final opportunity to help that pupil, then we should seize the moment. After a while, Stevens then thanks Diana, and requests several books from her for his assistance, but she quickly departs without saying anything to him. Kerrigan and Stevens go to an old firehouse and clean it up, because that's where Stevens is going to train the 12 students in capoeira. All 12 pupils arrive at the fire station at the same moment, and 2 teachers present their school and juvenile records to Kerrigan. When all the students enter the firehouse, and a student is playing music on a music player, Kerrigan instructs him to stop and introduces Stevens to them. All of the kids mock Stevens, as Kerrigan reminds them that misbehaving will not be allowed. When Orlando, a student, gets into a confrontation with another student, Stevens shouts and instructs Donovan to turn up the music. And Stevens demonstrates basic capoeira skills to students. After a while, he takes Donovan's music player and starts playing actual capoeira music, which upsets the student, and Orlando rushes over to the music player and tries to turn it off, but when Stevens doesn't, he attempts to scare him with a knife. But Stevens toys with him with his capoeira talents. He repeatedly tries to stab Stevens, but Stevens manages to grab the knife out of his grasp with an eclectic martial leap. Kerrigan informs him that the kid has several juvenile records and that his cousin, Silverio, heads the city's greatest gang. Stevens says, "Will they trust us if we don't trust them?" Donovan approaches Stevens, and asks for a tape of capoeira music. The next day, as Stevens is teaching all the students the fundamentals of capoeira, Shay urges him not to ginga, and teach how to kick an ass, when Stevens reminds everyone that if you can't ginga, you can't fight. Eddie taunts Shay. Eddie fights with Shay, and other students, supporting the fight. After seeing this, Stevens gets angry and dismisses the class. Everyone leaves, but he stops Shay and teaches him capoeira fighting skills alone. The next day, when all the students are gathered, Eddie tries to fight Shay, but Eddie couldn't even touch Shay. Seeing Shay's fighting skills, all the students are impressed. Shay and Stevens are practicing ginga, and he insists everyone see Shay's fight. One by one, all the students join in playing ginga and dancing. Orland watched from behind but didn't join them. The next day, everyone is seen playing bongo drums, and the teacher Diana is seen enjoying music. The teacher notifies all of the pupils about the change, and Stevens teaches them the berimbau, the traditional musical instrument of capoeira, and plays it. Donovan begins to play music similar to Stevens' berimbau music, and everyone begins to play the same. Stevens goes to Orlando and tries to persuade him, but Orlando becomes enraged and labels Stevens a loser, and he departs. Then at night, Stevens goes to place where Orlando and his cousins play basketball, and talks to Orlando about coming to class the next day. There starts a fight with Orlando's cousin, and Stevens fights everyone and wins, but Silverio, Stevens' cousin and leader of the gang, is watching the battle, and wants Stevens to work with him, but Stevens refuses. So Silverio and Stevens have a capoeira fight, which everyone cheers for till Stevens falls to the ground, and Silverio kicks Stevens. Looking at Stevens, Orlando looks guilty. Stevens stands up and walks away, making it appear as if he is severely injured. Diana then applies ointment to Stevens' wound, and tells him that going alone is not a smart move. Stevens asks her who is taking her. She came alone at night, and later he taught her some martial arts abilities, and they kiss each other while playing. The next day, all the students, even Orlando, are seen participating in the practice. They are seen practicing capoeira techniques, like ginga, cadeira, paralelo, balanço, agiro sem-mo, and armada kicks. Everyone looks happy. Music is playing in the background. Kerrigan and Diana are enjoying the practice with the drums. Sometime later, while waking, Hector tells Diana that he is her former boyfriend. Now that you have a boyfriend again, rumors are spreading among the faculty and students, and what do you do at the firehouse? Diana says, since when did you start teaching current affairs? A friend starts the car and leaves. When the board members observe all of the students interacting, practicing and caring for one another, they enthusiastically inform Kerrigan that we are recommending that a capoeira program be introduced in every high school in the city. The board member screams at Hector, who opposes it, and applauds the student. After some time, the board member says, now it is up to you, how you will teach 1,200 students. Everyone is seen sitting on the bus going on a field trip. Everyone on the bus sings capoeira. All are seen singing and very happy. Stevens brings all the students into the woods, and suggests setting up a tent on the beach outside the bus, but when all the 12 students are scared of the night, Diana suggests a hotel, and the students tease her. Out of fear, all the students and Diana sleep on the bus, and Stevens goes to the beach alone. The next morning, all are seen practicing on the beach. Students are seen practicing capoeira techniques. When everyone is setting up the tent, Donovan asks Stevens where his partner is. He goes to Orlando, where they discuss his problem, and asks him who put him in that crap, and says to remember, this word can be about as big as you ever want it to be, or as small as your tiny little hood. Now he has to decide. When the bus arrives at school, Silverio threatens Orlando, saying that you were supposed to work the night and didn't. Orlando informs him I respect you, but when Silverio informs him that he is not his slave, Shay rushes up to assist him. When Silverio threatens to accompany Orlando, Stevens says he's not going anywhere, he has a class in 5 minutes. As Stevens kicks one of Silverio's associates, the other associates pull out their guns. Then Stevens declares, this time I'm not going to play, I'm going to fight, and the cops arrive. When police inquires Silverio about being there, he answers that he's here to see his brother. Orland departs with Silverio's words, I could go against my family. A few days later, one of Stevens' students dies due to the terrorizing actions of Silverio's group, who also set fire to Kerrigan's classroom while terrorizing the high school. The capoeira program is discontinued, and Stevens is accused of being at blame as a result of this occurrence. He is also expelled from the school premises. As vengeance for the assault, Stevens sneaks into Silverio's chop shop, takes out the employees, and then lights a vehicle loaded with cash on fire. Silverio, incensed, gives the gang the instruction to deliver Stevens to him alive. Orlando runs away in search of aid. After a frantic struggle, Stevens is eventually taken down, and brought to a bonfire where Silverio is waiting. While trying to save their teacher, Stevens' capoeira pupils block their way. Stevens, who is already fatigued, challenges Silverio to a duel to win back his students. After a grueling battle, Stevens defeats Silverio, and the police arrive, sending the gang scattering in all directions. With this defeat, Silverio's reputation as a crime lord is gone. Stevens' capoeira program proved such a success, that his students graduated from high school. The principal announces special ceremonies, courtesy of Mr. Louis Stevens, and all the students cheer loudly. To celebrate, they join a Brazilian capoeira team to perform for Stevens at the graduation ceremony. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.